Hey everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. It is time for a little pasta tonight, and I thought that we would try to do something a little bit different. Welcome back, glad to have you along. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to join us. So far, it's pretty quiet in the room. But what we're going to make tonight is a traditional Sicilian dish. And hello there, welcome. So what we're going to do is a little pasta alla Norma. And it was named for a Sicilian queen, as I recall. But it is made from some great, very simple ingredients, but one of the things that was plentiful in Sicily. Hello, Gidra, nice to see you. One of the things that was plentiful in Sicily, eggplant. Hey, Rebecca Nielsen, good to see you. Richard Heagle's watching. Of course, I poured myself, this is a gentleman jack tonight. It felt like that was kind of the thing we needed. Edgar Martinez is watching. So pasta alla Norma, you can find this on restaurants, most of our favorite Italian restaurants around the valley, but you can make it at home. It's very easy. It's a simple recipe, but it's a little bit different in that, you know, you're probably used to a little eggplant parmesan or the eggplant rollatini where you roll it and stuff it with a little ricotta cheese after it's fried. You can do that, and that's a great way to use eggplant. I'm not a huge eggplant aficionado. I like it. I don't love it. This dish is a great way to serve eggplant, and if you grow it in your garden, we used to grow it all the time in our garden, and so it was one of those, it was kind of ubiquitous because they grow like crazy. The stuff that I loved didn't necessarily grow in the garden, but the stuff that I didn't, it did. It grew very well. So anyway, as with every Thursday, we're just trying out some different recipes. There's a family connection. My father had an uncle who was Sicilian, and we used to joke about it. We didn't really spend, I don't think we spent any time with the Sicilian side of our family. Hey, Richard Hibbs, good to see you. Betty Wall's watching. My father used to say, hey, Patrick Harrington, my good buddy. The saying in our family was because my father was a Napolitano. That's where he came from, Naples, and he said somewhere along the line with the Sicilian character, an anger management problem married another anger management problem, which I always thought was a funny line. But anyway, so this is a traditional Sicilian dish. It uses, no, not single barrel tonight. It's just a good old gentleman jack. It's Thursday. I got to hold off until Friday or the weekend. But it's very nice. Now, the one really cool thing about pasta alla Norma is the type of cheese we're going to put on it. Ricotta salata, which is a salted and aged ricotta. So it's a little bit different. Now you can put fresh creamy ricotta on it, but that really makes it a very different dish. I'm going to make it the traditional way. I made one different change in the recipe. And hello, David Wall. What was that about Richie Aprile? Richie Fano's watching. Good to see you. Ricotta salata is very different than perhaps the ricotta you're used to because I'm going to show it to you. It's right here. It is a firm cheese. It blends in with my cutting board. And we're going to grate it up and put that right on top. But it is salted ricotta, not the fresh ricotta that you're used to using in, you know, your lasagna or baked ziti. This ricotta, you salt it, and then, hey, Kim, good to see you. It's aged for a minimum of 90 days, so it's much firmer. Hello, Denny Peasant. Good to see you. And so we're going to grate that at the end and put it right on top. And it imparts a wonderful flavor. It's, as I said, different than the ricotta you're used to if you haven't had it. And it's not expensive. I found it over at Whole Foods. It was, for the block I got, it was less than $3. And, you know, cheeses can be really expensive. Hello, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law and Corinna, my daughter, are watching. Hi, guys. Good to see you all. Danuta is watching. She says, you always mention Roland. Well, it's because it's Roland's Facebook account. Hey, K.E., good to see you. Shirley. So what we're going to do is we're going to saute our eggplant. I've already diced it up, and I roasted it a little bit. And the reason I do that is I want it to be nice and soft, and I want it to get even softer when we start to put the dish together. So I roasted it a little bit. Now I've got my olive oil hot over here. I've got my can of diced tomatoes ready to go, cubed. And let me get my... So what we're going to do is, we've got the eggplant. Now, one thing that I do that is different I peel the eggplant because I find the rind pretty tough, unless it's a homegrown eggplant. And most traditional recipes for pasta alla norma, rather, you don't peel the eggplant. But we're going to put it in with our eggplant, with our olive oil. When I roasted it, I salt and peppered it. This is, since I'm making a smaller portion, I didn't use the whole eggplant, but when you do this at home, and if you're cooking for, this will serve 4 to 6 people, but you'll want to do the whole eggplant. You want about a pound of eggplant, maybe a little more. And so I'm just going to saute that up and get it warmed up again, like that. And it's okay that it's going to absorb a little more of that olive oil, because I want it to be nice and soft, and even softer when we serve it, because you don't want, like a tough chunk of eggplant in the dish. You want it to be nice and soft. I should save that. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to take that out. We're just going to saute a little bit. I'm just going to soften it up a little bit more. I don't want to use that middle. So I'm just going to heat this up. Then I'm going to pull it out. I've already salt and peppered it too. So we got the salt and pepper on the eggplant. Eggplant is, it's one of those vegetables. It absorbs the flavors that it's around. To me, it's a little bit like mushrooms in that regard. So I just heated it up. But like I said, I roasted this in the oven at 375 for about 20 minutes. So it's nice and soft. You just coat it with a little olive oil, salt, pepper, and roast it in a hot oven. And so that's super easy. And so we've got that. That you like to do ahead of time. And that way, you've got that nice and soft and ready to go. One thing I forgot to do, slice my onion. For the next, and for comparison, the ricotta salata, just so different than the creamy ricotta, which I can dig in. I was using this, I made a pizza on National Pizza Day, and I like to put some fresh ricotta. I mean, nice, creamy. So the ricotta salata is just a very different kind of cheese. So we'll put that over there. That's just for comparison's sake. All right, what we're going to do is chop up a little bit of onion. We don't need a lot, we just need a little bit. So I found a half an onion. And I've got some chili peppers here. Depending on how spicy you like it, we're going to put those in there. I hope Richard Herwig is watching, because I know he loves spice. So we're going to crunch those up in just a little bit. But I'm going to put about a quarter of this onion in there. We'll just slice that up. Try not to take off a finger. I like my onion kind of diced a little bit. There we go. It doesn't all have to be the same size. I don't freak out about that sort of thing. All right, so now we're pretty much ready to cook. I want you guys to be able to see what we're doing. So the pasta water's boiling. That's ready to go. Let's put you back over here. All right, you can see the pan, right? There we go. So we're just gonna, the olive oil's hot. You can hear the onion sizzle. We're gonna throw that, a little red onion. I like red onion because I enjoy the flavor a little more. So we're gonna saute that around. And of course, it's in the same olive oil that we sauteed our roasted eggplant. So we're preserving that flavor. All right, so we're just gonna, like usual, we're gonna sweat these onions up, but I'm gonna cook them a little more than I might normally. Hey Kevin, good to see you. I heard a funny story. A lady said, that she really liked to just not do much during the day, but she wanted to make sure that her husband thought she was busy all day. So about a half an hour before her husband came home from work, she'd cut up an onion and throw it in the skillet, because when you walk in the house, it smells like you've been cooking all day. The smell of onions is just so unmistakably delicious as they're sauteing. So we're going to saute these a little bit more than I might normally. I'm not just going to sweat them. I'm going to cook them down a little bit, because this sauce is really simple and it doesn't cook for a long time. It's a very fresh sauce. The only thing that really needs to cook for a longer period of time is the eggplant. Norma was a friend of yours, I believe, Sean. I'm kidding. Norma was a historical figure in, and I looked this up so that I could be very erudite and tell you exactly, and I forget. I believe it was this dish was made first for a queen of Sicily whose name was Norma, and it stuck. Or the eggplant that they first used was named Norma. So now I'm in trouble because I'm just making stuff up. All right, so we're going to saute our onion around for a little bit. I think it looked better. You can see it better if I turn off that bright light. While I'm doing that, I'm going to keep my eggplant over here. And what I want to do is crush up my red peppers just a little bit, because we're going to throw those in there in just a bit as well. I'm just taking the back of my knife and breaking it up a little bit like that. It's okay that the seeds are going to come out. I want it to be spicy. Just crunch it up like that. Look at that. There we go. And then we'll do that. If you are not, if you don't have fresh dried chilies available, these are very dry. You can, of course, use red pepper flake. That's an easy fix. I like my meal with a little medium spice. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night feeling it, but that's probably about enough. All right, so we've cooked the onion down. And as I said, I'm cooking it down just a little bit more than I might normally. Patty Sardella's watching. Colleen. Nice, Colleen Ann. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit. I've got about 3, maybe 4 cloves of garlic. They're ready to go. So, hello, Richard Drum. I believe you just celebrated a birthday, my friend, and I was surprised. I think you said you were 70. I mean, we were so young when we worked together at WVIR, both of us. I don't know how you could be 70. Happy birthday. Brett Core is watching, my buddy Brett. Always fun to see Brett and spend time. So I put my garlic in. We're going to cook that down. I don't want to burn my garlic. You know the rule. If you burn it, it's going to be very bitter. So we're just going to saute it until it gets nice and aromatic. But that's why I cooked my onions down a little more, because this sauce isn't going to simmer long. This is a nice fresh sauce. While that's doing that, I'm going to throw the pasta in the pasta water. I've got some nice Italian rigatoni. For this, I'm going to use rigatoni. I like the short noodles. It just, Reed, my chef and nephew Reed, asked what kind of chili. It was the generic, these are dried red chilies. That's what it said on the package when I got it at the grocery store. So I don't, just good old dried red peppers. They're not real spicy. They're kind of a medium heat. Because again, I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night with agita. So I like the rigatoni. My father always liked this, and I think with the pasta alla Norma, it's the right way to go. So we're going to put a little of that in there. I'm not cooking everything all at once because Andrea and one of the girls is going to be here for dinner a little bit later on, and I'll make it fresh for them. So I'm going to cook that down. And about maybe 2/3, hey Bill Senso, 2/3 of a cup of white wine. This is an Italian Pinot Grigio. We'll throw that in there, turn the heat up. We're going to deglaze the pan with the garlic and the onion. I want to cook that down nicely. I'm going to reduce it until the wine is just about gone. So I'm bringing that up. I'm going to bring you guys over so you can see exactly what we're doing here. So it's right now, it is the olive oil where we sauteed our eggplant. It's the red onion, and it's a little garlic and a little white wine. And it's already starting to shape up to be a very, very lovely dish. This is, as I said, you know, and the nice thing, I love Sicilian dishes because they are generally pretty simple and few ingredients. Now, while that's doing that, I'm going to throw in my pepper. There we go. I got new cutting boards. It's very exciting when you get new cookware of any kind. All right, so now we're going to bring that up and just let that wine cook down. It's going to infuse nicely with the onions and the garlic and the red pepper. that's so nice. It smells so good. These peppers have a little heat to them, though, Reed. I don't know exactly what kind of peppers they are, but they got a little heat to them, no doubt. My pasta is boiling. Nice salted pasta water. We're going to circle that around. All right. When this wine is just about cooked all the way down, and you can see that we're getting there on that. Oh, it sounds good as it sizzles, doesn't it? All right. So now we've got that going. We're going to add in, this is just, let's see, I believe it's a 16-ounce can. 15 were close enough. This is my wonderful San Marzano tomatoes, the diced ones. I want big, chunky tomatoes in there. So we put that in. Stir that around. We're going to keep the heat up. I want to infuse those tomatoes with all of that deliciousness from the red peppers, the garlic, and the onion. I reserved a little bit of that white wine in there. I didn't cook it all the way until it was evaporated, just to give the sauce some richness, a little extra flavor. Now we need a little bit of kosher salt. Just a little bit, just that. We've got a lot of red pepper in there, not a lot, but a little. So I'm going to put a little black pepper, but not as much as I might normally. Just like that. I hope Richard Herwig is not watching. He'll freak out about that. We're going to stir that in and let that come up to temperature. And this is what I like about this dish. It is, again, very simple, not a lot of ingredients. Calabrian chili packed in oil. That's a good idea. I will use that next time. What I like about this dish, not a lot of ingredients. It's very quick to cook. And once we drain our pasta, I can just fold the pasta right into the sauce, and we'll stir it up and we'll serve it. And then we're going to grate that wonderful ricotta salata on top of it. So now, while the tomatoes are coming up to temperature, we just want to cook them down a little bit. This is not like those Sunday sauces that we're used to making. And Reed knows what I'm talking about, my nephew, when Mom made sauce all day long. This is a quick, fresh sauce because you're taking advantage of those wonderful vegetables that are grown in that warm Sicilian sun, and the fresh-picked eggplant. You use fresh-picked tomatoes, those plum tomatoes, the San Marzanos. You dice them up. Of course, we're using our canned ingredients, but the essence of this is a nice, fresh pasta dish. Speaking of pasta, let's check on our pasta. It's coming along. I like to cook my rigatoni. I like it to be al dente, and I can tell when it's getting there because the noodle starts to kind of fold down on itself. I don't like it when they're totally flat. I think they're overdone. You still want them to have a little bounce to them, a little bite. I know, I do miss those days, Reed. I miss walking in and seeing Mom cooking. You would pull into the driveway at our house, and when Mom had the sauce and the meatballs going, she had the exhaust fan on the kitchen. So when you walked out of your car, you were just bathed in the smell of what was going on in the house. And it was so nice. All right, I've got this going at a pretty good simmer. I would say it's more than a simmer. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. So we got that. Now, while that's simmering, I've made a mess. Even though it's a simple dish, I've made a mess. I'm going to take... Now, you would want more eggplant than this. Like I said, next time you make this, you're going to have to cook the whole eggplant. I cooked about half of it because I'm going to make this dish fresh for the wife when she gets here. So we're going to put our eggplant in. Remember, this was roasted, sautéed, so it's nice and soft. You don't have to keep cooking it down. That's why you don't add it in fresh. You want to cook it down a little bit so that it is nice and soft. Yes, cooking for a living, Reed, I envy you. If I didn't, I mean, I love doing what I do. I love doing the weather and being the host of Eye on the Desert. But, with the sausage company, I love food. And if I didn't do television for a living, I'm going to have to come and train under my nephew. He could teach me to be a chef. Now, I've got the eggplant back in. I've got a little basil and a little oregano, okay? And this is going to add a little color. And, of course, I love the flavor of oregano. And I'm certain that you would just pull the oregano right out of your Sicilian herb garden and the basil, too. So we're going to put that in there. There's going to be plenty of salt and pepper in this dish, I feel certain. And remember that the ricotta salata is going to be a little salty as well. So you can be light and judicious with salt when you're making this dish. I want you guys to see how beautiful this is. So it's got the eggplant, the basil, the oregano, the tomatoes, onions, garlic, a little white wine, and a little red chili. All right. So with that, I think we're going to drain our pasta. I think we're real close to the pasta. It might need another minute or two. We'll check it. The old-fashioned way. Turn down the heat on that. No, it's still not done. That's going to cook a little longer. So we'll boil that. Let the sauce simmer a little bit. And this will be good because we're going to infuse that oregano into the dish to get some of that fresh basil. I didn't have a lot of fresh basil, so I'm going to add. One of my favorite things is the freeze-dried basil that you can get at the stores. You pack a lot of basil flavor in just a couple of sprinkles, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that. It'll give me some more green color in there too. I'll show it to you. You don't need a lot of. If you get the freeze-dried stuff, it's a little more expensive. This thing runs for about $4, maybe $4.50. Probably less if you're watching from somewhere other than California. Hello, Joe Baker. But it packs a great punch. You keep it in your fridge, and it lasts a really long time. When I buy those fresh basil plants, or like the live basil, I find them wilted. They just don't last. All right. Now, see, we've got even a little more greenery in here. And the nice thing is this is a vegetarian dish. A lot of my friends, I hope my buddy Andrew Trofka is watching, because he's always asking about vegetarian. This is a totally vegetarian dish. I didn't put any stock of any kind in it. You don't need it. It's a fresh sauce. And as soon as we drain the pasta, we're going to enjoy it together. But that last finishing touch, we're going to grate that ricotta salata on it. That just makes such a difference. And it's not widely used in a lot of Italian dishes that I know of. We didn't have it growing up. We had a lot of the soft ricotta. So I'm excited about it. I enjoyed reading about where it's made in Italy, and anywhere they make regular ricotta, they usually make a version of the ricotta salata. But again, it has to be, I'll show it to you, for those of you who missed it earlier. So the ricotta salata, it's a firm cheese. We're going to grate it. It is the usual ricotta, but then, of course, it is salted, and it's packed away. And it is aged for a minimum of 90 days. So it's a much firmer cheese. You know, I'm a big fan of the soft cheeses. In Italy, you know that I love the mozzarella and the regular ricotta. I love the soft cheeses, brie, all of those. But this is a great firm cheese. It's a little crumbly. You'll see when we grate it up. And it's going to be a nice way to finish off the dish. And we're close. Let me check my pasta one more time. All right. My rigatoni is nice al dente. I'm going to drain it, and then we're going to put it in our sauce for a moment or two. Knocked over my pepper shaker. There we go. All right, we're draining the pasta. And it's okay if a little pasta water goes in here. I've got my pasta. Let me point you down so you can see exactly what's going on here. Put the rigatoni in there. It's okay if you get a little pasta water into the sauce. A little bit of the starch from the pasta will help the sauce cling to the rigatoni. And again, I like the rigatoni. The sauce goes through it. It clings to the ridges. Sometimes you will see this recipe made with long noodles. Whatever your preference is. But I think most often it is made with the rigatoni. the big tubes. Not the biggest of tubes, but not the penny either. That's a little small. Oh, look at this. Now this is a beautiful, easy, fresh dish. We've been going for not quite a half an hour, and this dish is all but ready to go. I'm gonna let it simmer for just another minute. While it's doing that, I'm gonna grate up a little of my ricotta salata over here. So we've got that. I'm just gonna, it's very crumbly. You can see how crumbly it is. I'm just gonna grate a little bit of it. Like that. That is beautiful stuff. Beautiful. I don't want to grate the ends of my fingers off. All right, I've got my ricotta salata. It's gorgeous cheese. Intense flavor, very different. All right, let's plate it up. You guys sit tight. Get some of my rigatoni with that wonderful eggplant. Get a piece of that basil. Turn the heat down. All right, here we go. That is so nice. Move my drink. There we go. Just like that. A little bit more. Voila. There you go, kids. That is pasta alla Norma. A little eggplant, diced tomatoes, basil, oregano, onions, garlic. Oh, thank you, Dave. I appreciate. Yeah, we do have the best weather in the country. This dish, you know, a little salt, a little pepper, and a little hot chili. Let's try it. While I've got you guys on the horn, might as well try a little bit of it, right? So, I want to get some of that eggplant. So I got the eggplant there. We're going to get one of our tubes of ricotta. One of the tubes of rigatoni and some of that ricotta. Oh. That right there, you could serve to your best guests. It is delicious stuff. So there you go, a little pasta alla Norma, a little Sicilian. It is spicy. Those peppers, they have a good kick to them. That's nice. I'm going to enjoy that plate of pasta. Ken Schilling's watching. Hey, Ken, how are you? Listen, thank you guys for stopping by the kitchen. Throughout the pandemic, I started this back in April. I was just making recipes at home for myself or for the family, and I thought it'd be fun to share some of our family recipes, some of the recipes I love. We started with steak Sinatra. You can find them on Patrick Evans Cooking on YouTube. I still need to catch up. I'm a couple of weeks behind, but I'll load those recipes up and I post them with the ingredients. And so you can just check out the ingredients. You can watch the whole video. I try to take you through step by step so you know how to do it. Most of them are not very complicated recipes, just good old-fashioned family recipes. I think you'll really love this one. The Sicilian side of it with a little spice and the earthiness of the eggplant. It's just really good. And that ricotta salata is so nice. But again, be cautious with the level of salt in your pasta water and in the sauce itself, because the ricotta is got a lot of saltiness to it. A lot. It's a very salty cheese, so just be prepared for that. It's delicious. Listen, I hope you guys have a safe rest of your week. We're creeping up on Valentine's Day. I'm excited about that. I got a really cool gift for Andrea. I can't wait. It's President's Day weekend. I am taking Monday off from the television station, but I'll be there tomorrow. So I hope to see you on News Channel 3 tomorrow morning. And next week, we'll figure out something else tasty to make here in the kitchen. Thank you guys for joining me. It's always nice to have company here in the kitchen. And remember, the YouTube channel is Patrick Evans Cooking. You can check it out. And next week, I'm going to tell you about a special project I'm working on, and I'll post a link to it, but I think you'll like it. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Have a great rest of the week and a great Valentine's President's Day weekend. Be safe and be well. And salute. Cheers, chin down.